welcome to the Shoreham View. This is nobody's favourite host, Johnny, and this is the first ever episode of The Other Side. As many Blades fans will know, we've not really been watching much football in the Championship as of late. Crashing back down to reality now though, aren't we? So I thought the best way to get us prepared for Championship football is to talk to the fans who've been there, lived it, and to let us know what we can expect from them this season. There'll be an intro on every other video but this one, but I thought as this would be the first one, I'd best give you the intro myself. Anyway, we'll kick straight in, and I hope you enjoy it. Of course, first up, we've got the local rivals. We've got Barnsley, and we've got Joe Birdsall, and he's from Red All Over, a Barnsley podcast. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. How you doing? You all right?
I'm not too bad. You had a nice end to season, a lot nicer than ours, so I imagine you're probably in a better mood for football than we are.
Yeah, well, we're just saying, won't we? I mean, from a Barnsley fan point of view, I don't know what to feel at the minute, because usually we get to end at season, we've just about either stopped up or got relegated, and it's back to we're rebuilding again, and we're flogging, and what's going to happen this season, I've no idea. Like, obviously finishing fifth in the Championship, it's new territory for us, so obviously amazing season, and now just getting ready and seeing what it's going to be like next year, but not sure at the minute.
It were all a bit of a whirlwind, weren't it? I mean, you didn't have that fairy tale ending. The romantic football side of me thinks, even though it's Barnsley, it would have been nice. Local rival side to me thinks, now I'm glad they didn't go up.
Don't blame you. Don't blame. It was same for us. I think there's always that thing in there. Like I always say, it's nice to see other Yorkshire teams in Premier League, but at the same time, if they're having a bad time or it, just Wednesday United, whoever it is, you're going to give them a bit of stick, have a bit of that rivalry. So it's fair dues, isn't it?
I'd always your lot do well compared to them lot, so we'll keep that one. We're Barnsley, obviously got new owner and everything in. It's not new now; he's been there for a while. But what kind of footy can we expect from Barnsley next season?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we keep Gaffer, which I'm hoping we will, Valerian Ismail, he's been brilliant. A lot of teams have moaned about us being too direct at times, but I think it works fantastically well for what Barnsley do. Really good press. We get on the front foot as soon as we can. At times, we could probably get it down a little bit more. But the thing is, when we do get it down, we can actually play. We've got the players who can play the ball. So it's not like we're just directing it to one big man and that's it, and then everything else is just long ball. It's as soon as we've got off that second ball, we get it down on the floor, we play some football, and we get some decent goals from it. So you can expect a lot of energy, a lot of pace. They're a young set of lads, and as you can tell from finishing fifth in this league, they've got nothing to fear whatsoever. They're not scared of any of the teams now, so I think that's there's massive belief going into this season that they probably can replicate what they did last year, or at least have another good crack at it. So that's what you can expect, and I think most Barnsley fans, we'd always take staying up in the Championship, but we're all a little bit more optimistic now, and maybe thinking possibly we might, if we can hold on to as best players, we might be challenging near the top. Hopefully with the likes of Sheffield United, I can imagine, because I'm sure you boys will be wanting to bounce straight back as well.
Wanting and actually doing it's two different things. It's Sheffield United. Knowing us, we're going to have a stinker. Like that seems to be the way we do things. We've briefly touched on it. I mean, obviously you're dead chuffed with finishing fifth. Throughout that season, finishing fifth, we've touched on how you felt about it. A good season. Are we a star men in that team?
Well, as for any team that's got a budget like Barnsley's in Championship, you're going to have all your players playing well to finish fifth. But there's some real stars in there. Callum Stiles, our fullback. Well, he's actually midfielder, but he played at fullback for most of the season. He's a real talent, young lad. What a rifle of a shot he's got on him. He won us a few games with some cracking goals. Carlton Morris came in January, gave us a new lease of life. He was full of energy, scored some crucial goals again. He is a serious talent, and we haven't even seen the best of him yet, because when he first came in, he had a groin injury, so only played off the bench for quite a few games. So I can see massive things coming from him this season. But then you've got, a few that have been there and done it for Barnsley. Corley Woodrow's got a regular, 10 plus goal scorer every season. He's always on the score sheet for us. And the defence particularly. Anybody who's sort of kept an eye on Barnsley over the years will know that when we're in the Championship, we tend to leak goals. That's not been the case recently. Mikael Helik, Polish international, playing at the Euros at the minute, just absolutely unbelievable player who's really solid it up, and Mads Andersen as well, or Mess Anderson, should I say? Is apparently pronounced Mess, even though we all call him our Mads. He's been brilliant, really come on. At first, when he started in the Championship, he looked, nervous, edgy for the first season, but I've never seen a player transform like he has. He's just absolutely brilliant now and so solid. So, we've got stars all over the pitch, which is something I've not said for many, many years. So it's kind of nice.
You mentioned it earlier on, typical Barnsley. It's similar to United in a way. We'd always be thinking at end of season, especially if we've done well, right? Who we're flogging. Is there any players in that team that you'd expect maybe to leave in the summer? Well, to leave in this window, sorry.
It's really weird, isn't it? Because I think the thing is, like in a normal season, I'd be saying, yeah, of course, like not to be negative, but we're Barnsley. We know that players can get more money elsewhere. We've seen the transfer fees banded about, but then you stick COVID in the mix, and I don't think we've seen as many. Like big transfers at this level. Obviously, you're still going to see the biggies right at the top of the Premier League, but I've not seen as many. So I'm not sure, because we've got all our players on decent contracts, apart from as captain Alex Moore, whose contract's up, and that's obviously going to be an issue for us because he is. I will mention his star man, but I forgot to mention him. Typical Barnsley, but he's actually our main man, and obviously losing him is going to be massive if we do lose him. But
are you confident? Are you? So with Mo, are you confident he will sign, or do you think he may be holding out to move?
It's a difficult one. I'm so 50-50 on it, because you could argue, well, he would have signed before if he were going to sign, but at the same time, of course, he's going to want to, he's going to want to see if we're in Premier League or how we got on, and I don't blame him for keeping him sitting in shop window a little bit till end of season, and then going on holiday now, having a break he deserves, and coming back and deciding. I think we're all Barnsley fans are massively nervous about that, because if he don't sign for us, it could be massive. He's been an absolute leader for us, and he's carried us through this season. If he does not sign for us, it could be the difference between us getting up there again or potentially being a bit more of a struggle down the bottom or mid-table. But I'm going to say I think he will sign, just because I'm not sure what other offers he'll have on the table, and going to another Championship team that finished 14th, for example, last season, or 15th. Why would you do that when you could probably have another crack at it with Barnsley? But unless it's a financial thing, which we all understand that the wages would be a lot higher. So I guess it's that, isn't it? It's that choice of staying, he's a Yorkshire lad, stay in Yorkshire, or do you want to go to another team? So hopefully you lot don't fancy him, and we might keep him. But yeah, I think we might have a good chance.
So they're players that you think there's a possibility they could leave. Looking at your transfer window, as we said, it's Barnsley. Finances may not be there compared to some other clubs. But if you're looking at your team, 1 to 11, players available in the squad, where do you think you need to strengthen to be competitive this season?
Well, the obvious ones, obviously, if Alex was to leave central midfield, we're going to need someone in there. But Callum Styles, I think most Barnsley fans would say we're crying out for him to get moved there. He did brilliant at full-back out of position, but when we moved him into centre mid, we could see what he's capable of, and that's where his position is, and really want to see the best of him, want him there. But yeah, and Daryl DK was a massive, again, like Carlton Morris when he came in January, was massive for us. Obviously, that was a loan deal. He's not going to come back to Barnsley now. That's been confirmed. Scored again some crucial goals. So we're going to need another forward, I think, to bolster that. We have brought in Devante Cole. It's hard to know what we're going to get from him, because he's come from Motherwell, scored 12 goals in the Scottish League last season. But really, really unknown. But with Barnsley, these unknowns tend to turn into gems quite a lot. So we're hoping that's going to be the case. But I think he's a different player to DK. DK is big, physical, strong, really, battered defences. And I think we could do with another player like that if we're going to be challenging near the top again.
I would say he seems to be around forever, Devante Cole. I mean, we were trying to sign him when we were in League One, and he went somewhere because of money. But I think he's a nippy player, isn't he? More of a quick player. Do you think that's something that Barnsley could do with, or would you say you need more strong players?
I think we've already got it. I was a bit surprised by it. Like, don't get me wrong, you're always the way we play, we rotate us forwards quite quick. I mean, if you saw us last season, Valerian, he'd be taking 3 strikers off on 55 minutes and replacing with 3 freshens, because that's how we play. That the press, the energy, that's what we're trying to get. But yeah, I think we've already got pace. Dominic Freezer's another one who's just works his socks off, and he's really quite presses really well. I think Devante probably offers a little bit more pace than we've already got, and maybe a few extra goals. But like I said, I just don't think he's the same as DK. I do think we're going to need another physical player. Carlton Morris is pretty physical, but he's got the rest of the attributes as well. He's kind of an all-rounder, but DK was just an absolute powerhouse, and you're going to miss that, I think.
So for somebody who's not watched any Championship football for a while, the season ahead, you'll know more about the teams we're going up against than we do. What do you think the season's got in store for Barnsley?
Well, there's nothing to fear from what I've seen in this league last season. I think there's a lot of aging squads. There's some talent players. There always is in the Championship. It's never going to be easy. It's a tough league, but I was surprised by the lack of quality last season, and that's not to take anything away from us. We played really well, but it just seemed like a lot of teams had got to that point where they needed to press the reset button on their teams a little bit and maybe bring in 5 signings or refresh it a bit. So I imagine some of those will do that this summer, and there'll be some surprise packages, and it won't be straight running, but easy for us to replicate what we did last year. But yeah, I think that there's nothing to fear for any team going into this. I think when you look at the teams, our biggest threat's probably going to be Sheffield United, West Brom, and Fulham coming down like it was this season. Very similar. Norwich, Watford, and Bournemouth are obviously a challenge as well. But good to see Brentford get up. I was quite glad that once we're out of the picture, I quite glad it was Brentford, to be fair, because I think they deserved it. But yeah. So yeah, nothing to fear. Should be another interesting one. I can't see why Barnsley can't be replicating what they did last year, but I am quite glass half full, so we'll see.
So I would say for Sheffield United fans watching, if you're going to describe Barnsley and what we can expect from Barnsley in 3 words, what 3 words would you pick?
I'd say energetic, passionate, maybe gritty. There is just that element of, I think Valerian Ismail, our manager, he just gets, that South Yorkshire grit that we all love. As you know exactly the same with Sheffield United, that good tackle or extra bitter efforts, stuff like that. Just putting it in there, making it a battle for opposition. He's got that. He understands. He completely gets the makeup of Barnsley, and he totally understands it. He gets what we're about, and he's about it as well. And we love that. And it's rubbed off on players, and we see it. So yeah, that'd be the 3, I think.
Yeah, you got to love a good challenge. I think sometimes in Bramall Lane, it'll probably be the same as Oakwell. Sometimes we hear that crunch at tackle. Something cheers are louder than a goal. And I think that's just in our DNA, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there were one where Daryl DK last season, we were playing Bournemouth, winning 3-2 at their place. And he's run all the way upfield and absolutely crushed one of their guys. Clean as oak tackle, brilliant tackle, but you could hear it. It goes out for a throw-in, and we celebrated in our house like it were a goal. My mum came down running down. She says, "Has he scored?" I says, "No, he's just made a tackle. We were there throwing and all, but it didn't matter."
Right, so before you go, let us know where we can find you on social media, and tell us a bit more about your podcast.
So it's Red All Over on YouTube. It is a Barnsley show, so we are a little bit biased, but we do try to give other teams credit. So, if a team beats us fair and square, we'll get it. It's a bit of a bantery show, ours, so we keep it light-hearted. We always have a bit of a laugh with opposition, and, we have comments on, so we're happy for people to give it back a bit and all. So just searching Red All Over on YouTube. I'm at Joe Beardsall. If you want to follow me on Twitter to see my usual Barnsley stuff and anything like that. So I'm always sort of tweeting, and it's just Red All Over on Facebook and Instagram as well, if you fancy checking it out. But yeah, looking forward to having the derby against Sheffield United, because another Sheffield team's not in there this season, sadly, so we're not going to be able to play the other one.
No, heartbreaking.
Good to see you. Good to see you that you're back.
I know Barnsley Derby's finished now, isn't it? North v South Barnsley's gone for the season. You're going to do with Sheffield club now.
That's it.
Joe, it's been brilliant having you. These championship team previews, it's nice to get the local teams on and have a bit of a banter, because I can imagine some of the other teams won't get our local humour and our local grit, and I'm really looking forward to the derby game. Joe, thanks again.
No worries, mate. We'll go a pint at some point this season, I'm sure.
Top man.